Now, the school holidays are upon us. Some children have already broken up and some finish today or indeed next week. Now, while it may be a relief for some children, for many parents, it will start the beginning of a stressful couple of months. And according to today's papers, half of parents want the summer school holidays to be cut to 4 weeks, with longer half terms instead of the 6 or 8 weeks most schools currently have. Where would you sit with that, Christine? Does that sound like a good idea for you? Do you look forward to the sort of lengthy summer break? How does it work in your house?
It doesn't work. It doesn't work at all. My children really rely on routine. They have almost 8 weeks off, which is it's 2 months. It's a long time, and not just for the children being out of routine, obviously for us to work. Oh, look at my baby. No. For us to go to work, it's really difficult. We don't just have childcare there, so that becomes another challenge for us. But I think for the children especially, it's the routine, not just then after the summer holidays, trying to settle them back in September isn't easy. It's not like we just go, oh, they're back at school now, so we can carry on with our lives. I need to make sure that I'm around at home for those first 2 weeks at least to make sure that they're settled back in. And then it feels like by the time I've done that, then they're off again for Christmas. For me, I would love to see maybe smaller breaks more often, maybe once a month. Instead of, I think on average, they have around 10 weeks off per year with all of the half terms, with Christmas, with summer, Easter. If it was just like 5 days a month, consistently, a better routine, then we can plan, and we can plan for the children and enjoy that time together, and we can plan our own work.
Yeah,
and
as you say, it's the transition, and particularly, you know, and you've obviously, you talk about the children and their autism diagnosis recently, Christine, and dealing with all of those things, it can be a lot to take on, can't it? And like you say, then the transition back into school again.
It's
when
ongoing.
For such a long time. So it makes perfect sense.
Because routine is so much more of a big deal, isn't it? For an autistic child.
Yeah, definitely. But I think for everyone, like I said, the adults, especially parents that are awake, trying to get that childcare for 2 whole months, it's really hard. And then you carry that guilt because, you know, you want to enjoy the summer and be with your children. And I love it. I love it when my children are off. But it's impossible for me to be there for those whole 2 months, every minute of every day. And of course it's exhausting as well, so we want to enjoy it. But yeah, I think it's too long, and it would be nicer if it was just evenly spread across the whole year.
I mean, I think as well, I try my best to think of things to do. I don't want them sort of sitting in the house, because they're quite happy. To be fair, yesterday they made a big den in my living room. You know, we've gone old school, and they just got sheets in and got chairs, and it occupied them for ages. They thought it was great fun, but, you know, that'll not interest them today.
When they want you to get into those, it's like, all right for a minute, and then it's like, then I really want to get out, it's dead now.
It's your den.
It's just for you.
I have to tidy it up, I know my place.
I think it's hard with the kids that are, like, more into, like, you know, the computer games and stuff like that. You know, as they get older, I find it harder with my eldest. I always worry, the minute we go into a holiday, I'm like, oh, he's going to be on the computer more, he's going to be eating more snacks. You know, when they're at school, they're doing so many more sports, and they've got football after school, and they're always really busy. And I actually think they deserve that time, and they deserve that rest. They're always really tired by the end of a school term. But, you know, it is like when you're working and stuff, trying to keep them busy enough and things like that. Like, I love having them at home. Like, I don't miss that rush in the morning, making sure they've got everything they need in their school bag, and actually, like, I really appreciate that time off. But I do wonder if, like, something that was more spread out throughout the year instead of these big blocks would probably be better.
Every year is busier as well. Every year is busier, which is, again, more challenging. If you've got children who are autistic or ADHD, it can be quite overwhelming going to play centres or holidays, and then obviously there's the cost. The cost of holidays can almost, I think it's triple on average during the summer holidays, which is really, really difficult for families who are struggling financially. They probably might not be able to go away because they've only got that time slot, whereas if it was just consistently spread out evenly, someone might choose to go away in February, someone else might do July, and it's not going to be as expensive. So everywhere's busier, more pricey, and juggling to find the help. So for me, it doesn't work.
I think it'll resonate with a lot of people. We've asked people at home, should the 6-week summer holiday be reduced? And 63% have said yes, it should be. It should be sort of shortened down, like you say, spread out maybe throughout the year. It's a difficult one, and particularly when you talk about co-parenting. you know, it depends on everybody's individual situation, obviously, doesn't it? But, you know, if you've got two... You're a perfect example of this, to be fair, Christine, trying to juggle a family with two parents who are doing their own thing.
Yeah, and unfortunately, I have got the co-parent, you know, the dad is around to help, but we just have to just plan our calendars, try and not clash our dates to make sure that one of us is always there, and that's just how we do all year round. But certainly over the summer holidays, obviously it's that bit more difficult. Now, we still live in the same house. We separated 3 years ago and we're divorced, and I actually feel really, really lucky that we can get along, we can do stuff together, and we can also have our time apart to go and make sure that we can work. Obviously not as much as we would whilst they're at school, but that co-parenting relationship for me is really, really important, because
it's actually got a title, you know. It's called a nesting home. It's a thing.
Yeah. So I first heard about this when we were going through the divorce, and we were looking at different options on what to do and what would work for us, and us both going into separate houses straight away just was never going to work. It would be too much change. So we heard of this nesting, which I think is quite... It's a new, modern way of divorcing or separating. I think it's a Swedish thing.
Could you have a cottage, like, at the bottom of the garden?
Well...
a shed?
What? I'm not going in the shed, no.
We should make it nice. I'll put it in the shed.
You can go in the shed if you want. I've got a nice one, actually.
Men like sheds, don't they?
Well, let them rent
do a bigger shed.
Everybody's different, isn't it? And everyone has to find their way. They have to navigate their way. Like Katy Perry and Orlando Bloom, all over the news recently, of course, and they've decided they're shifting their relationship to focus on co-parenting, nesting, whatever we're going to call it. But, you know, when you've got this family, you want to make sure they're OK.
I would like to have a big nest, which is the one that we've got, the family nest, and then have our own little nests outside. That would be the dream. And I think that would be a nice... transition for all of us, rather than just go, OK, let's sell the house and both of us live separately. I don't want to be dropping my kids off at Daddy's house for 2 days, and then it might be for a week, and then they're with Mummy for 3 weeks. And
again, it's even more difficult if your child's autistic, because you've constantly got that change of routine.
You need the comfort of knowing that all of their stuff is there. They need to know where the bedrooms are and where all the things are, and I don't want to be thinking, oh my God, have I left the charger, or Penelope's left a toothbrush over there. It's just, for us, it makes sense right now to just have the family home.
I think you've done it brilliantly. I really do. I think that's really, really impressive, because a lot of people would obviously find that difficult, but that's amazing that it's working for you, Chris. And obviously it doesn't for everybody, Frankie, though.
No, I know loads of people like that. I think the nesting thing is becoming more and more popular. I think even for financial reasons, it's easier at the beginning. But I know a lot of my friends are having to like juggle that co-parenting thing, and especially through the holidays and with work, and it is so much harder during the summer holidays. So
it's a shame we can't do more of, like, dividing things up, co-parenting, when you've not got divorced. Isn't it? Maybe we could all learn something from this. We go, you're going to do 50% and I'm going to do 50%, and we can write it all down.
It is amazing the amount of people that didn't step up during the relationship suddenly do.
That's what I mean. Get it in before.
Yeah, definitely.
Do an audit. An audit is needed.
How fun.
Romantic. Still to